So it was just like really frightening and really jarring to hear that like 3 innocent people were murdered.
To me, it blew my mind.
To be completely honest, I haven't really heard much about the event. I only heard about it today. So it does shock me a little bit that it wasn't portrayed as much as it should be in the media.
There was a lot of emotions. I was upset, I was angry, but I think mostly I was surprised.
My reactions were just like really sad and like really sorry for everyone that knew them and their families, and just like I can't even imagine what that feels like.
I'm not sure if I would consider it a hate crime.
Yeah, literally if roles were reversed, there would be no question if it was a hate crime or anything. And all Muslims would be blamed for the entire action. So the fact that we have to sit here and justify if it's a hate crime or not is part of the problem itself.
It's like another one of those hate crimes. It's like, it brings me back to Ferguson specifically because I'm African American.
I personally think it wasn't a hate crime because I think it's perfectly likely that the incident could have been random and involving any number of people in a parking dispute. However, it's hard for me to imagine the person perpetrating this not being aware at all that they were Muslim.
No one was talking about the guy being a criminal, being guilty. There's posts that he's made on Facebook before that were Islamophobic. No one talked about that.
The fact that my classmates had no idea what was happening, and a lot of my professors were confused as to why, I excused myself from class, just reflected, not only the lack of the media's responsibility in portraying this, but the lack of, empathy from the larger community.
I think that after 9/11, our country's kind of been heightened and oversensitized to Muslims and Arabs, and that we're kind of scared of it.
In the news, Muslims can only be portrayed as the aggressor, but we can't really provide them any humanity or humanize them when they're the victims.
And it hit really close to home because it was a campus that I think is pretty similar to Ann Arbor.
I feel like a lot of times on campus there's no one really standing up for Muslims.
I just personally haven't seen it, but I think it's because I haven't been in that situation to see it.
I personally don't see it, only because I believe that I'm in the majority, and it's a lot more difficult when you're in the majority to notice racism going on.
I don't see any lash towards me specifically, or towards my religion specifically. I feel like we're mostly accepting. I don't know how it would be if I was Muslim.
I think even at the vigil we held last night, we had random hecklers walk by. Someone yelled and asked if we were ISIS. And it was at a time where people were mourning together. So I think that if people feel that comfortable to say things in that kind of setting, they definitely feel comfortable saying it in everyday conversation. I've sat through classes where professors have said Islamophobic things.
There were 3 students, and here you have a university filled with who knows how many Muslim students, and we barely got reached out to by the university.
I would say I don't feel safe on campus because of my Muslim identity.
I feel like there aren't as many solutions discussed for how a person can walk down the street and construct a different image of a person that they see.
Informing and then expression without anger and violence. It's just, when things are done calmly, people are more understanding.
If we can just remain educated at least, and then have people reach out, it really does provide the community